All right, gentlemen, what's going on here? David with Core Confidence. What's up, Art of Effortless Attraction? Of course, the group you're a part of here. David Hamilton with Core Confidence. Just want to make sure I do my live check here real quick. Make sure we're live, and we are. Sweet. So welcome, guys. Excited to do this Facebook Live. I promised you that I'd be doing more Facebook Lives, that I deliver on them, and so here I am doing it. Sorry, just to see if I can get this light going on, but it's not working. So we'll just rock and roll with the lighting that we have. Excited today to talk to you guys about the hot topic of pursuing women versus being the guy that women chase. Okay, and there's a huge difference here. Took me a lot of time, effort, help from mentors and coaches to figure this out, because I always had this sense that it wasn't right that I always had to be chasing women, and all the pain and the suffering and the rejection and frustration and all the stuff. I didn't want to live that way, like a lot of people seem to deal with, or settling for women less than what a guy wants if, he's not chasing after the woman. He just kind of falls into his lap through friends or whatever. I really wanted to crack this code. And so this is one of the key points of what I help you guys with. Right. And so, we got to take a look at, on this topic of pursuing women versus being the guy they chase. We need to start with, why is this even important? Why even consider this, right? Does it even make sense to do this? I wanted to take a step back, and I really thought about this as I was making the notes and the outline for this live today for you guys. I mean, everybody knows, right, that that men are just the ones that pursue and advance on women and move things forward and ask them out and get their number, right? And that's just how it works, right? That's just how it works. That's just like gravity. That's a fact, right? You drop a tennis ball and it hits the ground because it's gravity. And it's the same thing with men pursuing women, right? And even when we look at, not non-mainstream approaches like guys that get into seduction and pickup, it's still all pursuit-based. So that's just how it is, right? Well, that's wrong. I luckily found out, okay? I luckily uncovered it. And, all the problems that we face as men, especially when the women are really hot or get hit on a lot, chasing them, trying to convince them as we're competing with the other guys, and, getting their number, asking them on a date, incessantly texting them and trying to persuade them to go out with us, trying to figure out, what's their schedule, when's the right time to text, should I do it too soon, should I wait longer, right? All this thinking, all this mindset on, I've got to do all this stuff to convince her to like me, to find me attractive, to go out with me, right? And I even went into all the pickup stuff. And I'm not saying you can't get results with that stuff, guys. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is all the bull crap that has to be gone through, all the pursuit, all the effort, goes away when you turn it on its head. It doesn't mean there's no effort at all, but it goes away when you turn this thing on its head, okay? And, things like flaking and, or, getting, after a date or two, oh, you're a nice guy, or let's just be friends, or, you're really good, you're a really great guy. It's just, it's just not a fit. I don't feel the chemistry, those kinds of things, right? That, let me just tell you, happens to the best looking of guys too. And certainly the guys that flaunt the money and success as well, for sure. They're targets for that kind of thing to happen, or dangling the carrot of sex and romance way further down the road, when she senses that he has, money and this and that. And I'm really not actually even, I mean, yes, we're talking about gold diggers in that sense, but even kind of when a guy presents that kind of vibe, even if the woman's not a gold digger, it tends to make her want to go, ugh. It's like, so it's completely subconscious, right? Because attraction isn't a choice. It's not. So, why do this? Why does this work? to be the guy that women chase instead of doing how every other guy does. Not even every other guy, every, I don't know, 99% of guys, you know. Why do it this way? And so if you take a look in your own life, okay? I've done this. I've even had conversations with my close guy friends about this. The guys who are in relationships where they have the healthy power and control, okay, with the women, every single time, guys, every single time I look at it and talk about this, and I had lunch with a friend the other day who's married. One of my good friends who's in another serious relationship, different ones. And then I have friends that were like chase the woman down, or like, oh, I'm so lucky, and I just, I wanted to have her, and I was just waiting, and right? And how their relationships go, not as well. Hint, hint, hint. But all the guys realize that it just works out better for us as men, and for the women too, when they chase us instead of us chasing them. If you take a look and you have experience with this, you'll see it loud and clear when I point this out. It's undeniable. But you have to wash away the matrix of mainstream dating programming and be willing to step beyond that and hear me out here, okay? And so one thing I always notice, no matter how many women I pursued, dated, tried to pick up, hit on, advanced on, was assertive with, aggressive with, etc., I always actually had this visceral sense the power was being sucked out of my chest, like I'm giving my power away. And I always felt super uncomfortable. Now, but there were times where, the women chased me, and it usually was the woman fell in my lap through circles of friends, or maybe she wasn't one that I was really all that attracted to. I kind of settled for, right? That pattern shows up, and I wasn't having all that power necessarily going on my chest unless I started pursuing her, or started really liking her, and then doing all this pursuit shit, which I did do with a major relationship, which led me onto the path of pickup and meeting women and all this stuff, because I got my heart broken, right? Wham, wham, wham. So the thing here is to look at this for yourself, really see it, and to know that you don't have to give your power away or any of this, and you can feel good about it and select her, but you have to really work towards becoming the guy that women chase. He's a much more rare guy than the mainstream guy, okay? And even if you see these relationships going around, right, you see couples together and all that, she's always going to remember, and you're always going to, but she's going to remember more, who chased who. That precedent gets set, okay? So when we flip this whole thing over, flip the script on the whole dating game, the dynamic changes and you change. So why would you still chase? If I say this over and over, I say it in my Attraction on Command masterclass, stop chasing them, flip the script, all this stuff, right? Why would you still do that? Well, because the fear of letting go of what you think it is and how it should work and what you're super conditioned in, but it doesn't really, really, really work in the end of the day. Now, of course, you got to be a good guy with this stuff, right? I'm not talking about being some bad boy jerk off at all. That's not good. That's, because then you don't have healthy power and control, because either, you have power and control either way. For it to be healthy, you actually have to be reasonably healthy in your psychology for this, or, solidly healthy. Okay. So why would you do this? Well, fear of judgment of others, right? When everybody says, "Oh, did you ask her out? Did you get her number? Just be yourself." And are you pursuing her? Gosh, just pursue. Get hear from mom, dad, brother, sister, right? Any friends or family, right? You could have fear of reaching your full potential, of having this better than you can even imagine, in abundance of women chasing you, no matter if you're in a relationship or not, and always having that mojo. Fear of changing, fear of success, of course, fear of failure, things like rejection and all this stuff, but they're all illusory fears at the end of the day, ultimately. Okay, I don't even believe in rejection, quite frankly. Rejection is self-inflicted. And it's part of mainstream psychology too. That's total bullshit, which is why most people suffer in their relationships. All the mainstream stuff is all about. It's never about being happy. It's not. So about individuals being happy and being happy in their own lives. It's just not. I don't care if it's women, business, career, health. It's just not. You have to search outside of it. Have to. Definitely isn't in school. So, these are all irrational fears, and those are the only things stopping you. And those can be tough to work through for sure, because they're irrational, not rational. They're really baked into your mind, right? Into your mindset. So the hardest thing that guys come up against with this is to be willing and able, and then do the work to turn over your mindset completely and believe this will work. It's like a bizarro world in a way, right? It's like going down the rabbit hole of Alice in Wonderland. It's uncertain and scary, but it works, and it works the best. Okay. So, going to dive into this more here. And so here's how I'm going to dive into my points I'm going to cover here. Okay. So first I'm going to talk about what it's not about, the knots, and then I'm going to talk about what it is about. Okay, cool. The core fundamental things here being the guy that women chase. Okay. So let's start off with the first one. Let's dive right in here. So the first thing it's not about being too cool or a bad boy jerk, right? Because if we're talking about being chased, it's not about being too cool and overly aloof and like, women should all chase me. No, it's not about that at all. In fact, even though you might get more looks and attraction from a distance from women because you're not being all, as I call, squirrely and try hard, you can't be connected with, or you're not approachable. Okay. And not only that, you're just kind of being a dud of energy in the world, and you're not going to be happy in the day, even if you're able to get some results or better results by being jerk-like. You're still going to be a fucking jerk at the end of the day, and you're not going to be happy with yourself. Not really. Okay. So it's not about being too cool. I've done that and it sucks. Man. I think it sucks. Okay. That's my experience with it. And there's no way I'd be a stand for helping guys be too cool and all this stuff. And it just doesn't, on so many other levels, it doesn't work that well, because other people see you as a jerk, and other doors that might open for you socially and otherwise are going to be closed. They're going to be closed. Okay. So, even though you might have more of a sexy edge, you're not going to have that feel good vibe that you're a likable guy without trying to be likable and try hard. Okay. So it's really not about that. And, I think you get that. Most guys probably get that pretty straightforward. So the second one here I want to talk about is it's not about being passive. Okay. Because if you think about being chased, well, it seems like, well, then it's, kind of tied to the first one, but then we can just, okay, let's say you're a good guy and this and that, and you're not being a jerk or too cool. Then you're just kind of sitting around and going, well, when are they coming? When are they coming? You've got to interact with people. You've got to interact with women. You're just not pushing and trying hard or pursuing them. It's a totally different way of way of being, we might call it, that women can really feel, and people can feel it too. Okay. And so it's not just doing nothing and waiting for women to come to you, sitting on the, by the bar and the bar stool at the event and kind of like, okay, it's just going to happen, right? It's like magic, sitting on the couch and visualize only equivalent of, oh, the life I want is coming to me without getting out there and taking action, just starting conversations normally and simply. Okay. And just being freaking cool and laying back. Okay. It's definitely not about that. Now, the third one is, it's definitely not about money or looks either. Okay. Now listen, guys, if you're a slob and you got hair sticking out of your ears, okay, and you're wearing shirts that don't fit you and all this kind of stuff, that's bad. But you don't have to be super uber good looking, or even you can be average looking. You don't have to be all ripped and buff. I'm not. Okay. You don't have to have all that. You don't. Okay. You gotta like look like that you care about taking care of yourself. Okay. And a lot of that has to do with, you know, style and clothing and like being trimmed up and stuff more than anything. Because the vibe is what it plays into anyways, about being the guy being chased. But if you're always going in your head about, like I get a lot of comments, especially about money, oh, it's about money, 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 right? And flashing the cash, then you're sorely mistaken. And the same thing goes in the looks department. Can looks enhance things? Sure. But there are plenty of good looking guys that have come to me, believe me. And I hear it all the time. I mean, and they're even like buff and handsome. And they just constantly strike out with the women they want because it's just driving crazy. They can't figure it out. Why? Because they're pursuing them. They're pursuing them way too much. They're chasing, they're hunting, they're hitting on. Okay. And attraction for women is not fundamentally based on looks or money or success. It's just not. Okay. So it's not about that. And then the fourth thing that it's not about is it's not about 22 steps, you know, till infinity, or clever pickup lines and all this, do this and that and say this and say that and say that and say that, you know. Are there sometimes some key things that you might need to say or do? Well, sure. You know, kind of like if you're at the doctor's office and the doctor's like, so what do you want to do here? Right? He's given the diagnosis, right? But it's nothing fancy or clever, especially when it comes to starting the conversation. You need to be able to say, hi, hey, how's it going? How are you? I covered this in a post about the only pickup line you ever need, which is no freaking pickup line. Or maybe a situational comment about what's going on in the environment or something like that. But it's very plain and simple. Otherwise, you risk being a try-hard hunter trying to come up with some clever thing to say or something that's going to knock her socks off. Because when we look at vibe anyways, sexually magnetic vibe, which I talk about in Attraction on Command Masterclass, the vibe's there before you've opened your mouth, right? And a big part of the vibe is understanding this, coming from the position that you're not there to chase or hit on. You're there to connect, right? Find out who she is, what's going on. Let her find out who you are, connect with you, and definitely not chase her, okay? Now, you know, I'm not saying that this is easy to get, at least at first. Like, this can be really tough, right? Because we're talking about bell curve stuff. I'm always a end of the bell curve guy. A bell curve is like, right, when they look at data and how things go with, let's say, the average person, how much money they make, right? There's a bell curve. Well, as you get to the end, you get to the really poor and the really rich. I'm always interested in the bell curve, of course, on the successful side, about anything in life, with business, with career, with health, with women. Duh, I forget that. You know, I just want to give some other examples. And you can't find it in the mainstream, which is why you're here, right? This is what compels you to be here. So, you know, what we're talking about is bell curve. And the reason is you'll never have the problems that all the mainstream people do, the mainstream guys do, in attracting the women that you want ever again once you get this, because, you know, you'll be at ease and you'll know that you attract these high quality women, that you're doing things differently than 99% of guys, right? And mostly it's that fear getting in the way of being willing to let go of the older paradigms, okay? And instead of chasing, pursuing women, be the guy that opens up and feeds their appetite to chase, okay? Because it's a rare opportunity they get to chase a guy who gets it and who gets it through and through, all right? So one thing you don't want to do is get ready to get ready and sit here and go, well, I don't know, you know, like I'm not making this and talking about this stuff and making this Facebook Live to bullshit you, okay? This is, if you're ready to get ready on this and you're here for a reason, you got to go all in on believing what I'm saying, okay? or at least critically stepping back and going and questioning all that you've thought and what you've believed up till this point, okay? And the women, especially the really attractive women, are dying to have a guy they can chase because they got all these chumps that are chasing them down. And the more attractive the women are, the better this works. I didn't make up the rules. I just cracked the code on it, okay? So let's talk about the what's of what to focus on here, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is giving genuine value. Giving genuine value, okay? And I didn't say giving value, but genuine value. And there's a huge value that you give by not chasing her down or forcing her, trying to force her to go out with you or convince or persuade, but by being a socially adept person who sort of talks to everybody equally, including beautiful women, and not singling out and not talking to the grandma because you're not going to date her if she's hot, or some guy over there, right? And only focusing on the attractive women. Now, don't avoid them, but you give genuine value by also focusing on being interested in and connecting with people, including these attractive women, without trying to have the agenda of pursuing and making shit happen, okay? It's ultra important. And part of that genuine value is, yeah, you've got to let go of the old paradigm, but you've got to be genuine in who you are at your core. It's one of my sites called Core of Confidence, core of who you are. But there are things about you and what you're doing, thinking, how you're behaving that just aren't working, aka the topic of conversation here is one of the main ones. Be a genuine freaking human being. Actually care about people. Care about beautiful women as a person. But that doesn't mean that you chase them and fall over yourself. Because think about it. Does she want to be with a guy like that who's falling over her? She's got no respect for that guy. Guy's got no backbone, okay? So you got to give genuine value, literally out in the world. And some of these next points are going to tie into that, okay? And so the second one is to have a real belief in yourself. Have self-belief, okay? Being at ease and relaxed in who you are, regardless of how hot or beautiful she is, which you have to unassociate all the mainstream bullshit about chasing women, removing the pedestal. This ties to removing the pedestal, right? And actually value yourself regardless of women. It's super key, man. Super key, guys. You know, you can see all the dating products and all the other programs out there. Here's the magic line. Here's what you do. Just shaking my head right now. I'm speechless. Okay. Don't buy any of that stuff. Okay. And when you're relaxed and at ease, she feels that and you're not phased. Do you have to be perfect with it? No. Courage works, right? Stepping in there and giving it your best shot to be at ease, not your best shot to get her, but to give her the opportunity to experience you, is a guy who's going to do the opposite of what every other guy does. There's a process to it, right? And some guys have more barriers than others. Generally, what I find is the guys that have real confidence and shyness problems take longer to get this and have more mental, emotional challenges, but it's all doable. It's you know, the work ethic and the commitment and the effort and the time is really what's at play here. Most important. Okay. But nobody else is going to believe in you. Okay. Other than you. Mama and dada isn't going to do it. Brother and sister, like, even if they say it, it used to happen to me where people would say, oh, I believe in you and this and that, but I never felt it or believed it. And until I crossed that bridge, and look, I have my off days. I'm an imperfect human being. But the default is that things are completely different when it comes to women, okay? So really important to work on that. The third one is to love life now. Be the kind of guy, the kind of person that finds a way to love life now. Now this, again, is very non-mainstream, isn't it? Because the idea is that once you get the girl and once you get these skills and all the, you know, vibe and everything, then you can love life. Nope. If you want to be the guy that women chase, You got to focus on this right now. Okay. Right now. Because again, what I'll tell you is even the guys that are really good at hunting and chasing, right, pursuing women, that base their life, and if they're loving life or doing well in life, only based on the fact if they're constantly getting results, end up being quite miserable. And it's the same thing if you've ever, and of course, because this group is for successful guys, when you make money and you think money's going to solve it, you're sorely mistaken. I'm not saying you can't enjoy it, the money, the women, whatever, but it'll be ultimately you'll end up being dissatisfied. So you have to focus on loving life now, and that comes out in your vibe, and that's magnetic. Okay, that's really magnetic. And it's being whole, and another way to say is being whole and complete in yourself first, not needing women, not needing hot or beautiful women. Okay? Because women will go out with you and they'll use and abuse you, and they won't even do it consciously. It'll be subconscious. They're genuinely good women that will not even mean to use and you'll feel used and abused because they have nothing to do on a Friday night and you're offering to take them to dinner or whatever it is, and they're like, okay, I guess he wants to do that. And don't blame them. Don't blame them. Okay. So that's the third one. And last but not least is inspiration, in what I call inspiration and invitation. Could call it I squared if I want to nerd out, which is being an inspiration by loving life now, generally giving value, and then inviting women into your world, into your life. Okay. Not trying to convince or persuade them. Right. Kind of like, it's really like being the Pied Piper is another way to look at it. I talk about being the king, but it's being the Pied Piper instead of the hard closer. Instead of come into my shop. It's like, you're playing your tune, you're loving life, be yourself, boom, you're out there giving the world, and bam. She's like, who's this guy? Right? So actually being an inspiration of a freaking dude around these women. Okay. And then you don't have to worry about getting her number and closing it down and locking her down or getting her on a date when you invite her along into your world. Okay. Very simple and straightforward. And then you could actually enjoy your life as you go along. Now, some of you might be going, yeah, what are the steps and blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, I told you it's not 22 steps, right? If you want to be a guy on the edge of the bell curve, whether you want to see a lot of women date them openly, honestly, authentically, and casually on the way to finding a right relationship, you'll be an inspiration to this woman, and all women will still be attracted to you when you're with her, and she'll know it, and she'll always know it, and she'll love it if you're with the right kind of woman, because it doesn't stop once you get in that right relationship with the woman. And then you've got a pool of women that are chasing you that all adore you and want to be with you, and you're a good guy about it, and you're open, honest, and authentic, and they can't fault you for being a good, genuine guy in the world who's not a bad boy jerk, who's not too aloof, or who isn't all shy and awkward, but has actually developed himself to realize his full potential. And look, if you're shy and awkward right now, I get it. I was there. That's my story. I'm not coming down on you, but I am coming down on the fact that if you are playing victim to the fact that you can't change and it's just how I are and I'm just an introvert and I'm just a shy, it's all fucking story, man. Okay. Mainstream psychology doesn't help you with this. Okay. People are shocked that I'm an classic introvert, meaning traditional introvert. I've certainly moved on the spectrum, and I still have my introverted things, right? I can work at home and crank out work all day by myself. I got no problem. There are people that would drive crazy an extrovert, but I got the skills to pay the bills socially and with women too. And of course my friends are shocked, but I developed myself. I believe in realizing your potential. I don't believe in going for the status quo and not fully having what you want as a man in this life. It's why I exist. It's always bugged the shit out of me, especially when I was shy and introverted. Couldn't talk to who I wanted to talk to. It was powerful people, successful people, hot women, whatever. And why could that guy do it and I can't? Well, fuck that is that's why I stayed on this path for so long and wouldn't stop. Okay. And I love the fact that if you go on YouTube, you can find high performance athletes and success people and Tony Robbins like people talking about this stuff in general, because too much of that shit in our society goes on. Well, I just want to be me and get the woman that's going to fit me. And it's just, I don't have to change. And then that'll solve my problems. That's not the guy that a beautiful woman wants to be with. You gotta have something to offer, not just her, but the world. Okay. That's where I come from. Okay. I don't help guys realize potential as bad boy jerks here. Those guys can piss off because they're not adding to the world in the way that I'm talking about and having a life. And they're not really going to love their life. They're going to have shitty problems in other areas of life, shitty self-esteem going on in other areas and all that. Okay. You don't want that. So if you're not clear on what your challenges are and what you want to achieve, then, and how this could work for you, then book a call with me. Let's talk about it. Book a breakthrough session. Okay. Because you don't have to settle for women that you don't want, or if you're not meeting women at all, or have a social life, or really working, the social angle, not the, although this stuff absolutely, applies to online stuff too. It works so much better in the traditional real world. Okay. Or it's not traditional world, but it's like the real world. Okay. And it plays out into that. And then you're not really realizing your potential if you're not able to talk to and approach the women that you want, if you're hiding behind online. Okay. If you're chasing away the women that you want and only getting the women that you don't, and it's driving you crazy, you can attract the exact kinds of women you want or better. And I don't want to say repel the other women, but then the other women, you put them in your friend zone and they're cool with it, right? Because you're not going to be a jerk about it. So guys, look, this is what at the core of what it really takes. Okay. And again, what I promised you is to be the guy women chase. Be, right? Be. Okay. Not do the guy, but be the guy. Okay. So, I need you to be 100% honest with yourself here. Okay. Be 100% honest. Are you waiting and hesitating by not taking new action, by not really exploring this approach, staying stuck in your old habits, your old ways, and whether you're not really getting out there to meet women or using methods like every other guy, 99% of guys, I can't say every other guy anymore, chasing women down, which is not only more work, but stunts results in meeting the dating women that you want, sets the wrong precedent down the line for all your relationships, your casual or serious relationship. She'll remember who chased who. I remember, I mentioned that before. And, in actually becoming the guy that gives genuine value, that isn't chasing, that has total self-belief in himself, that loves his life now, that brings that vibe, is an inspiration, invitation, is an inspiration, invites women into his world, then you want, and you really want to get this stuff down. Because honestly, it's not, it's simple, but it's not easy in a lot of ways because we're so programmed growing up by society and conditioning with this stuff. I searched long and hard for this, many obstacles to overcome, tons of internal obstacles, including heavy shyness and social anxiety and, fear of beautiful women and all these kinds of things. So if you need my help in getting all this to work, then I want to invite you to reach out and book a call with me, and we'll discuss all this stuff and how it applies to you. So the way it works is go to coraconfidence.com /talk. And as long as you fit the criteria on the page, you just fill out a bit of info on your situation, book a time that works for you, and we'll jump on the phone and we'll talk about what your challenges and obstacles are. If you're not able to meet the women that you want because you lack confidence, is it attraction issues? Are you pursuing too much? Are you needy? Are you getting numbers, but then they flake out? It's just not working for you online? You don't have a social life, or you don't know how to leverage your social life, or all your friends are married, or you're getting 1 or 2 dates, but it's let's just be friends. You're a good guy. You might have it all together on paper, but they're just not attracted to you. Are you settling for women that are just not the quality of beauty that you want. I'm literally mean looks. Are you settling for women that might be hot, but then they're head cases, right? Or pretty good looking, or have tons of problems, or whatever it is, we'll discuss it and talk about what you really want to achieve with women, and becoming that version of you that inspires and compels women to adore you, to chase you down, and so you can have the lifestyle that you want and fit into your lifestyle and the relationships you want. And if you do want to work with me and to make sure you fix this for good and take care of this, then I can show you how and help you do that, avoid the mistakes, course correct it, and shortcut it. Because what I'm about is not just information, but it's transformation, really transforming yourself into, because this is how it works. You have to do it this way. Because the roadblocks often go deep, and having that guidance and support can be really invaluable. So look, the only thing really holding you back is your fear from going all in and flipping it over on its head if you want to push that bell curve like I talk about. Because right outside your comfort zone is where the results that you want are, okay? And if you want to be the best version of yourself and more than you've ever been, and realize this potential, because it's not actually about being better than other guys. The more that you're like this, the more you actually have more compassion and empathy for guys that don't get it. That's how it works for me. Instead of I'm better than other guys. And certainly you won't be competing with other guys, because you won't be chasing women. You'll be the guy that women chase. This is about you. This is about changing you, realizing your potential. Okay. So if that's what you want, I want to help you do this. So you can book a call with me. And if I can help you, I'll show you exactly how I can do that. So go to coreconfidence.com/talk and fill out some info, book a call there. And that's all I have for today. So that's it for now. We're complete, and I'll catch you guys on the next live. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.